is CTV News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Michelle Maluske. A 27-year-old from Windsor has been charged following a collision in Muskoka. The OPP says around 4:30 a.m. Sunday, a tow truck was struck by a transport on the side of Highway 11. The operator was accompanied by OPP officers who were responding to a separate collision. Incredibly, no one was hurt, but a Windsor man is charged with careless driving and failing to slow down and move over for an emergency vehicle. Here in Amherstburg, an 80-year-old woman is in critical condition. She was a passenger in a vehicle involved in a three-vehicle collision on Front Road at Kingsbridge Drive. Windsor police are hoping to speak with witnesses and would also like to see any surveillance footage or dash cam video from the area around noon on Sunday. This fire in Kingsville destroyed a shop on Seacliff Drive over the weekend. It's not known what sparked the blaze, but it took 20 firefighters 6 hours to put out. Border authorities are reporting a drug bust at London's International Airport. According to CBSA officials, more than 200 pills and nearly 120 grams of pharmaceutical narcotics were seized from a Canadian resident returning on an international flight back in December. Meantime, in Windsor's Superior Court, two trials started today. One is in relation to a vehicle collision, and what's in dispute is who the driver was. Cameron Droulard pleaded not guilty to impaired driving, failing to provide necessities of life, and dangerous driving for a collision in Lakeshore in October 2022. An OPP officer testified today. She arrived on scene to see paramedics helping a woman on the ground. A man, the constable told the judge, was walking around the scene. The defense and Crown dispute who the driver of the vehicle was involved. This trial will continue all week. Meantime, a jury trial is also underway into a single charge of sexual assault. Jessie Maluske has pleaded not guilty. The victim testified virtually today. She told the court Maluske asked if she wanted to have sex in May 2019, but she denied his request. The details of the alleged assault are expected Tuesday when the victim continues her evidence. The two ERs in Windsor, Essex County are inundated with patients. So much so, as CTV's Sanjay Maru will tell us, they're asking people to only come to the ED if it's life or death.
Even hospital officials themselves have been feeling the brunt of flu season.
I myself have had a couple of bouts of illness this year, and I'm not usually prone to that.
And that widespread illness is translating into higher than normal emergency department volumes at both Windsor Regional Hospital and Erie Shores Healthcare, particularly from respiratory infections and flu-related complications. In fact, public health data shows flu activity climbing quickly in Windsor, Essex, jumping from about 70 cases in the first week of December to more than 200 cases by the final week of the month.
We haven't seen such a high number since more than 10 years.
Here at this pharmacy in LaSalle, staff say it's not just that more people are getting sick, it's that symptoms are lasting longer this year as multiple viruses circulate at the same time.
We've seen in the past, I would say 7 to 10 days usually should see a complete clearing of symptoms. I've had a couple questions about people with lingering symptoms for up to 3 weeks.
Windsor Regional says all of this has led to longer than usual emergency department wait times, averaging about 3.5 hours to see a physician during the first few days of 2026. But officials add that's just an average and may not reflect how long someone with a less than urgent need may have to wait. That's why patients with more mild symptoms are being urged to consider other care options like visiting a walk-in clinic or seeking help from a pharmacist, where prescribing powers have been expanded in recent years. But pharmacy owner Rob Modestino says he'd like to see those powers go further.
We're allowed to prescribe for COVID, but we're not allowed to prescribe for the flu, so it doesn't really make any sense.
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
The end of an era is just weeks away for dozens of workers at the Crown Royal bottling plant in Amherstburg. Diageo announcing late last summer it would shut the plant down, taking operations stateside, a decision that sparked strong reaction. CTV's Travis Fortnum has the latest, including a renewed threat from Ontario's premier to pull the whiskey from store shelves.
Ontario's premier says he's not backing down. Just weeks before the Crown Royal bottling plant in Amherstburg closes for good, Doug Ford confirming he still plans to pull the whiskey from LCBO shelves.
Oh, 100%. I can't wait.
The plant is set to close February 28th, marking the end of an era for dozens of unionized workers. Diageo making the announcement last August, moving parts of its operation to the U.S., a decision that quickly sparked backlash, including Ford's high-profile move to pour out a bottle of Crown Royal on camera.
This is what I think about Crown Royal.
He says he hasn't changed his mind.
But I'm not going to waste another bottle of Crown Royal dumping it.
The plant's union representative, John Dagnolo, says he wishes the product had been pulled sooner.
I actually personally asked the premier myself to take it off earlier, but he was adamant that he was going to do it after. He was hoping that the company would change their mindset.
Last month, union members voted in favor of a closure agreement, and Dagnolo says many workers have already found new jobs.
I know a lot of them went down to Stellantis to work in their plant because they're hiring. They're starting up that third shift.
During his news conference, Ford also addressing rumors another company could step in and buy the plant.
There's quite a few interested parties, I understand, that are going to go in there and hire back all the Diageo workers.
But Dagnolo cautions for now that talk remains speculation.
I've heard rumors, but I haven't seen anything solid yet.
For the community of Amherstburg, the countdown to February 28th is now very real. Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
New tonight, a Windsor City Hall committee has greenlit grant funding for a new high-rise on Riverside Drive. Richmond Block London Corporation has an $80 million plan for Riverside between Karen and Jeanette. It's a 27-story mixed-use residential commercial building. Today, a committee at City Hall approved the project for two different grant streams to support this development. Full details on the grants are on our website, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Meantime, a property over at the edge of Windsor and LaSalle has sold. But to who and for what purpose? As CTV's Chris Campbell reports, it sparked renewed interest in creating a national urban park.
Several large swaths of land bordering Windsor's Ojibwe Prairie Complex, including property near the former Windsor Raceway, have long been viewed as key to expanding protected green space in the city's west end.
Every piece of land is essential.
While one of the smaller parcels has recently been sold, advocates say it serves as a reminder decisions around the land are happening now.
It really speaks to the urgency for government partners, Parks Canada, everyone to work together to acquire as much of this land as we can and integrate it into permanently protecting the Ojibwe National Urban Park.
Friends of Ojibwe President Mike Fisher says there's still optimism the remaining lands can be secured. The property would help link Ojibwe Park with nearby natural areas like Black Oak Heritage Park, the Tallgrass Prairie, and Ojibwe Shores, creating a more connected ecosystem for rare species in the Carolinian zone.
It's so important to protect what we have here, and there needs to be a large enough footprint to do that.
And unfortunately for us, it's not something that the City of Windsor could do alone. It's not only our decision, so we have to work with our federal partners.
Windsor Councillor Fred Francis says the city is not responsible for the new sold sign, but notes the timing may finally be right, pointing to $36 million in potential federal funds through Parks Canada that could help secure the land that previously had an overall cost estimate around $17 million before the parcels were divided.
These lands are selling, and time could be a factor here, so we have an opportunity of a lifetime. Let's not waste it. Let's not squander it. Let's seize it. The money's there. We just need the okay.
According to Francis, city officials are expected to meet with Parks Canada this week.
Let's work together. Let's all collaborate, and let's see these lands incorporated into an Ojibwe National Urban Park so that future generations can appreciate it and enjoy in perpetuity.
Chris Campbell, CTV News.
A Windsor intersection is inching closer to completion. The city had promised Sydney and Provincial would be open before Christmas. That didn't happen. The city says CN raised a safety concern, so they've been testing the wigwags and rail signal all weekend and into today. Officials say it will be open to traffic by the end of January.
It's good news that we see the light now at the end of the tunnel. It's unfortunate that we've experienced this delay, but we're moving in the right direction. I expect that the project will be wrapped up in short order from this point.
A messy dose of Mother Nature is barreling towards Windsor, Essex overnight. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald has your full weather details coming up in 2 minutes' time. Then later, the coolest gadgets now on display at the Consumer Electronics Show. We'll take you there for a sneak peek. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me now with a look at the weather and a messy storm, on the way for tomorrow.
Messy is a good word to describe it. Good evening once again, Michelle, folks. Talking about freezing rain arriving, say around 6, 7 a.m. Confidence is high from the computer models that it will arrive on time, unfortunately, and be a mixture: rain, freezing drizzle, freezing rain, maybe even some wet flakes. It's gearing up over the northern U.S., the Central Plains and upper Midwestern states, Minnesota, Iowa, into Wisconsin, and then working its way closer to us through the overnight tomorrow morning. We anticipate it to start off light. Might even see a mixture of all three precipitation types: rain, freezing rain, and wet snow. But it's because temperatures are dropping to the freezing mark, maybe even -1 at 6, 7 a.m. tomorrow, we get this mixture. And behind the system, on its reverse side, as it taps into colder air from the northwest, it will change over to snow later on in the day. And any moisture that hasn't frozen already, by midnight tomorrow night, we're likely to see some of that freezing over as we drop below the freezing mark, obviously. So rain, some of it freezing, some of it just your droplets, and 1 to 2 millimeters of ice accretion could be disastrous on area roads and sidewalks, so watch your step. The snow, the wet snow, likely to melt on contact with surfaces. But if you're headed northward bound, northeast, and further east from there, it's cold enough, it's all snow. That could slow things down, even for travel in and around Toronto, flying to or out of over the next 24 hours. Overnight temperature, that is the low for tomorrow morning before dawn, -1, a perfect setup for a frosty early morning, freezing rain setup. The ice pellets, freezing rain, and rain drizzle combination comes in early as we're headed towards work and school, dropping the kids off, daycare. It's warm enough through the midday and afternoon that it turns to rain. It, in fact, gets even windier towards 3, 4 o'clock. So we will see a transition in terms of precipitation types, no doubt. 4 degrees is also the temperature we expect for Wednesday. More showers, rain showers, that is, expected. Thursday, up to 8 degrees. Our average high for this time of the year is -1. We're 9 degrees above seasonal both Thursday and Friday, holding at 8s apiece. And then it just gets cold rapidly. Saturday into Sunday, highs of +1 followed by -1, and a week from now, +2. I think this roller coaster ride, according to the model data, the consensus is high. We're in for a topsy-turvy ride in terms of conditions and temperatures over the next, say, 6, 7 days.
Complete denial today in a New York court by Nicolas Maduro. Court sketches show Maduro in shackles and dressed in prison garb. He pleaded not guilty to all charges, including narco-terrorism, conspiracy to import cocaine, and the possession of machine guns and destructive devices. The Trump administration is using the charges to justify its capturing of Maduro in a military operation Saturday. Maduro told the judge that, quote, "I am a decent man, the president of my country." CTV's Babala Chico brings us reaction from a Venezuelan Windsorite.
This is one of the many videos circulating of Venezuela following Saturday's early morning missions to detain the country's president, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife. Local realtor and entrepreneur Luis Mendez has family back home.
Describing the night, it was just lit up like the sky was on fire. Like, that's not a good feeling, right? They definitely are living in fear. They don't know what's going to happen, if there's going to be more invasions that are going to lead to more bombings. And that's a big factor for them right now.
Mendez says the capture of the Maduros is bittersweet for him and fellow Venezuelans.
We're pretty happy of what transpired. He's corrupt. He definitely violates human rights in Venezuela. He has really, crippled our economy, and, the Venezuelan people have suffered because of it.
The events surrounding the capture was felt in Cuba, where Chatham-Kent councillor Michael Bondi was visiting on a humanitarian mission. He was at his resort feeling something was off and decided to leave as soon as possible.
Their only fuel is supplied by Venezuela, and if they run out of jet fuel, well, I'm not coming home on time. And I couldn't take that chance.
Bondi left late Saturday afternoon, 4 days early. He says ATMs weren't working, no one was taking credit cards, and he paid triple the amount for his taxi ride to the airport. In a social media post, he told his followers he was looking forward to returning to cold rain and dirty horses to clean because he works with horses.
The airport was chaotic, but orderly chaos. But there was, I wasn't the only one getting out of Dodge.
The Venezuelan community is rather small here in the Windsor-Essex County area with about 100 residents. Mendez says they are planning to host a prayer vigil sometime in the near future. In the meantime, he is hopeful for the future of the country, but weary of the U.S. control.
We've been our sovereign country for many decades, many hundreds of years, so ultimately speaking, it needs to continue to carry that way.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Paris tonight. Carney is there to join a gathering of the so-called Coalition of the Willing. Its focus will try and accelerate a negotiated peace plan for Ukraine and secure agreements to prevent Russia from invading again if a deal is reached. The talks in the French capital are expected to include the leaders of about 30 countries. Carney will also speak with the Secretary General of NATO. Meantime, Toronto area MP Chrystia Freeland will be stepping down in the coming weeks now that she's landed a new job. Today, she was appointed as Economic Development Advisor for Ukraine. Freeland has Ukrainian ancestry and has been a vocal supporter of the country during its war with Russia. The opposition, meantime, has called Freeland's appointment a conflict of interest. A new survey suggests the federal Liberals and Conservatives are about even when it comes to support at the start of the new year. The Liaison Strategies poll shows the gap has closed between the two parties. The Liberals are at 38% among decided voters, the Conservatives 37%. Meanwhile, 55% of respondents said they approve of the job Prime Minister Carney is doing. The poll has a margin of error or plus or minus 3 percentage points, meaning it's considered a statistical tie. Canada's main stock index rose to new highs, helped by gains in the basic materials sector. The TSX shot up over 300 points, while in New York, the Dow spiked 600 and the Nasdaq gained 160. The loonie was off almost 1/5 cent. Gold surged over $120 an ounce, and oil jumped $1 a barrel. Ontario government employees are now back in the office 5 days a week. However, hundreds gathered around the province to protest the pandemic-era privilege.
Fund health care, not real estate.
This was part of a province-wide day of action put on by CUPE members at Health at Home. They say they've been able to deliver essential home care services remotely for years, and they shouldn't be forced to return to the office full-time. As of today, the province ended hybrid work arrangements. A similar protest was scheduled to happen in Windsor today, but no employees showed up. The biggest names in technology are converging in Las Vegas for the annual Consumer Electronics Show. But before the curtain even rises, some companies are already unveiling their latest gadgets. CTV's Pat Foran reports.
More than 140,000 people from 150 countries are expected to attend this year's Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. It's clear what one of the biggest tech shifts is expected to be.
I think the trend here and everywhere the last 2 years has been AI.
AI is going to be everywhere. I'm so excited about robotics.
AI is being incorporated into older traditional products as well as newer ones with promises to make life easier.
It helps you make decisions in life.
You put in the facts, and it just comes back and solves problems.
As always, robots take center stage, whether it's robotic toys for children, a chess game to keep you company, or personal robots for companionship or home security.
The basic function of this is like a humanoid home monitoring camera. You know, there is a camera on the face of it.
If you're too busy to cook, let a robot do it.
Nosh is a robo-chef that cooks 500 plus dishes across cultures and cuisines automatically. So it helps users to eat healthy, homely dishes every day.
There are body scanners that let you monitor your health.
Do you want to get that data to make the changes in your life to live longer?
As always, the latest in television technology is rolled out at the show. This year, LG has a new wallpaper TV. It's ultra thin, only 9 millimeters thick.
Basically a little bit thicker than a pencil. So as you can see behind me, the wallpaper blends in with your environment.
Not everything here will eventually make it into your home, but many products could. Whether it's stringless guitars or robotic puppies, CES officially opens its doors tomorrow and has daily events and announcements until Friday. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Meantime, a Montreal doctor has created an app to detect if you might be prone to a torn ACL. CTV's Anastasia Dexatrine explains.
The ACL is a ligament in the knee, and when torn or sprained, there can be long-term effects.
If you have that injury, you're out of your sports for a rehab that's a year long.
Dr. Paul Martineau is an orthopedic surgeon and director of sports medicine research. In his 18 years at the McGill University Health Center, he's done more than 2,000 ACL surgeries, and he says injuries often appear starting around age 12.
It's become an epidemic where women are injuring themselves 7 times more than men. And the age of the athletes is getting younger and younger. You can see that at all levels of play.
From school sports to the elite professional level, Martineau says prevention is better than cure. Enter Hurt Blocker. The free app aims to flag the risk of ACL injury early and avoid related setbacks. The app is user-friendly. You start by taking a video of yourself doing this, jumping on each leg. The app uses artificial intelligence to analyze knee movement and stability as you land. It then determines if you might be predisposed to ACL injury.
It will process that data and come out with you jump in a way that's risky for your ACL. And if you need help, or if you're a red light, like we call them in the app, there are exercises you can do that decrease your risk of injury by 50%. It's huge.
The recommended exercises are known as neuromuscular training programs. The combination of moves like jogging and jumps helps to improve agility, strength, and balance. And already, Martineau says the app has reached 4,000 downloads in 2 months.
Well, essentially what we were trying to do is put physiotherapists, a doctor in your pocket so that parents, coaches, athletes could just test themselves at home.
Martineau says 12 universities and several professional teams will soon be using the app, and he hopes to see even more jump on board. Anastasia Dextrine, CTV News.
Canada isn't leaving the World Juniors empty-handed. The boys grabbed bronze tonight with a win over Finland. Canada bounced back from that tough semi-final loss, beating the Finns 6-3 to win third place. Zane Perrick had a goal and an assist, setting a new Canadian defenseman scoring record, while Gavin McKenna finished with a goal and 3 assists. And while gold was the goal, many watching here in Windsor, Essex, some even heading out to a sports bar for the Monday night game, say the team still showed grit and character to finish on the podium.
Overall, I mean, happy, I wouldn't say that. I'd say I'm satisfied with hopefully the bronze medal, getting to the bronze medal game, but hopefully next year they could maybe beat Czechia and go to the gold medal game.
Honestly, Canada's been playing pretty good. I think last game they could have played a little bit stronger defensively, but I think they've been really strong offensively so far.
I've been sort of watching it here and there, and I kind of been enjoying it, just through the holidays and stuff like that, especially with my son back who lives there. I kind of connected a little bit more with him about it.
Windsor was the hotspot for female hockey over this past weekend.
It's fun. It's cool to play against teams from different areas and stuff.
The annual Windsor Wild Winter Classic female hockey tournament dropped the puck at the WFCU and Forest Glade arenas. More than 50 teams from Ontario, Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan descended on our city. Teams ranged from U9 all the way up to U22 with varying skill levels. Players had the chance to lace up their skates in a skills competition before playing for a spot in the finals. Hosted by Sun Parlor Female Hockey Association, organizers say the talent only gets better every year.
It's nice to see such good hockey, especially at the lower levels. And a lot of the U.S. teams, they, have fun coming over and playing the Canadian teams. And the Canadian teams don't often get to play some U.S. teams that they would, sometimes not see.
And CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me one last time with details of a topsy-turvy roller coaster of a weather forecast. I love that. It's a great way to describe those 7 days.
That's one of my favorite expressions. Thank you, Michelle. I think we are really going to see some dynamic weather in a very short period of time. 7 days encapsulates freezing rain for tomorrow morning, steady rain and wind tomorrow afternoon, a flash freeze concern late Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning as temperatures get down to the freezing mark or just below it, and then rain and temperatures surging. Wednesday, a high of 4, high of 8 for both Thursday and Friday with the chance of showers. That's 8 plus, yes, above the freezing mark. And then a nosedive. Cold enough to see early morning freezing rain yet again Saturday. And then Sunday, cold enough with a high of -1 to see flurries through the morning and afternoon. And then Monday up to +2. It's up and down we go. Down tonight and up as we head through the rest of the week. It's going to be dangerous on area roads potentially, so do travel safely. Michelle?
Thanks, Gary. Caesars Windsor is welcoming country star Dylan Scott to the Coliseum for an all-ages show on Saturday, April 25th. Scott is riding high off platinum-certified hit This Town's Been Too Good to Us, along with fan favorites My Girl and New Truck. The concert is part of his Till I Can't, I Will tour with special guest Kelsey Hart. With billions of streams and a new album, Scott continues his country music rise. Well, that's all the time we have for now. Thank you so much for joining us and supporting local news. I'll see you right back here Tuesday night.